Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivajakacharya Ashtottara Shata Shri Srimad. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Sri Dandi Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Patita Pavana Savior of the Fallen Souls Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivajakacharya Ashtottara Shata Shri Srimad. His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Sridhandi Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Govardhanath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Mathura Dham Ki Jai. Navadip Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Gangamai Ki Jai. Yamunamai Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai. Brihad Mridanga Ki Jai. Sameta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to His Divine Grace. Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st Canto, 19th chapter, text 22. Ashrutya Tat Rishigana Vachaha Parikshit Saman Maruchyut Guru Cha Avyalikam Abhasata Enan Abhinandaya Yuktan Shushrushamanaha Charitani Vishnu Ashrutya Tadvishigana Vacha Parikshit Saman Madhu Chad Guru Chaivlikam Abhasaitanam abhinandya yuktan Shushru samanas charitani Vishnaho Ashrutyatad Vishigana Parikshit Saman Madhu Chayat Guru Chaivalikam Abhayastansnan Abhinandya Yuktan Shushru Manashtatani Vishnaho
Charitani Vishnu
Ashrutyatad Vishigana Parikshit
Ashrutyatad Rashigana Vachavrikshi
Saman Madhu Chayat Guru Chaivalikam
Mamaruchud Guru Chavalikam
Abhasatinan Abhinandaya Yuktan
Sainam Abhinanja Yuktam
Shushru Anamanastad Charatani Vishnu
Shushamanas Ashrutyatad Rashigana Vachaparikshit
Ashrutyatad Vishigana Parikshit
Samam Maruchud Guru Chavalikam Abhashatainam Abhinanja Yuktam Shushushamanas Charitani Vishnu
behind the computer.
Ashrutyatadri Shiganavacha Parikshit Samang Madhuchud Guru Chavyalikam
Samang Madhu Chad Guru Chaivalikam
Abhashatainan Abhinandya Yuktan Shushushamanas Charitani Vishnoho
Ashrutya Tadrishi Ganavacha Parikshit Samam Madhuchud Guru Chavyalikam
Samang Madhu Chad Guru Chaivalikam
Abhashatainan Abhinandya Yuktan
Abhasatinam Abhinandya Yuktan
Shushru Shamanas Charitani Vishnu
Ashrutyatad Rishiganapacha Parikshit
Ashrutyatad Vishigana Parikshit
Samang Madhuchu Guru Chavyalikam
Samang Madhu Chayat Guru Chaivalikam
Abhashatainan Abhinandya Yuktan Shushru Shamanas Charitani Vishnoho
Ashrutyatad Shiganavacha Parikshit
Parikshit
Samam Madhuchud Guru Chavalikam
Saman Madhu Chad Guru Chaivalikam
Abhashatainan Abhinandya Yuktan Shushru Shamanas Charitani Vishnu
Asrutyatari Shiganevacha Parikshit Samam Madhuchud Guru Chavyalikam
Saman Madhuchat Guru Chaivalikam
Abhasatainan Abhinanja Yuktan
Abhasandana Abhinandayukam
Shushrusamanas Charitani Vishnu
Manashtatani
Ashrutyatadrishigana vacha parikshit
Ashrutyata Vrishikam Bhakta Parikshit
Samamaduchud guruchav yalikam
Guru Palikam
Abhas shatainan abhinandya yuktan
Abhasitam Abhinandayuktam
Shru shamanas charitani Vishnu
Shushrusamastatani Ashrutya, just after hearing. Tat, that. Rishigana, the sages assembled. Vachaha, speaking. Parikshit, Maharaj Parikshit. Samanam, impartial. Madhuchayut, sweet to hear. Guru, grave. Cha, also. Avyalikam, perfectly true. Abhasata, said. Enan, all of them. Abhinandaya, congratulated. Yuktan, appropriately presented. Shru samanaha, being desirous to hear. Charitani, activities of Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Personality of Godhead. Vishnugunataki ki jai. Translation. All that was spoken by the great sages was very sweet to hear, full of meaning, and appropriately presented as perfectly true. So after hearing them, Maharaj Parikshit, desiring to hear of the activities of Lord Sri Krishna, the Personality of Godhead, congratulated the sages. Text 23. Samagata sarva eva sarve Vedayata muti tarastri prishte Nehata namutra kaschantarta Rite paran gruham atmashilam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The king said, O great sages, you have kindly assembled here, having come from all parts of the universe. You are all as good as supreme knowledge personified, who resides in the planet above the three worlds, Satyaloka. Consequently, you are naturally inclined to do good to others. But for this, you have no interest, either in this life or in the next. Purport. 6 kinds of opulences, namely wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation, are all originally different attributes pertaining to the absolute personality of Godhead. The living beings, who are part and parcel entities of the Supreme Being, have all these attributes partially, up to the full strength of 78%. In the material world, these attributes, up to 78% of the Lord's attributes, are covered by the material energy, as the sun is covered by a cloud. The covered strength of the sun is very dim, compared to the original glare. And similarly, the original color of the living beings with such attributes becomes almost extinct. There are 3 planetary systems, namely the lower worlds, the intermediate worlds, and the upper worlds. The human beings on earth are situated at the beginning of the intermediate worlds, but living beings like Brahma and his contemporaries live in the upper worlds, of which the topmost is Satyaloka. In Satyaloka, the inhabitants are fully cognizant of Vedic wisdom and thus the mystic cloud of material energy is cleared. Therefore, they are known as the Vedas personified. Such persons, being fully aware of knowledge both mundane and transcendental, have no interest in either the mundane or transcendental worlds. They are practically desireless devotees. In the mundane world, they have nothing to achieve, and in the transcendental world, they are full in themselves. Then why do they come to this mundane world? They descend on different planets as messiahs, by the order of the Lord to deliver the fallen souls. On the earth they come down to do good to the people of the world in different circumstances, under different climactic influences. They have nothing to do in this world. They have nothing to do in this world save and except reclaim the fallen souls rotting in material existence, diluted by material energy. Om Megam Dhiranamasa Dhiranamasa Chakshur Almaditam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Svatpitamena Bhutale Svayam Rupam Piramayam Tatisvam Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Parikamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Upasagatam Zakana Bhagnatam Tanchiri Tadvetam Savadutam Paritam Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Param Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishvakam Ditamscha Shri Krishna Purana Sandra Dina Balantika Today Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Krishna Radha Kanta Namostate Abhishekanta Rugorangi Hare Vrindavaneshwari Vishvabana Sutta Devi Anamai Hari Puri Panchakal Hari Vishaki Visindu Devachapati Tinam Bhavani Vaishnavi Yogan Mamaha Aisha Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Om Vishnu Hare Krishna Vijaya Padma Shrimati Sant Krishna Dasati Paripanamani Namo Prabhupada Prema Mati Padmani Parveshna Krishna Krishna Om Vishnu Hare Krishna Vijaya Padma Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachakini Nivishesha Shrimati Krishna Desa Chakani.
I could share a little story, if it's okay. In Portland, we arranged for Srila Prabhupada to have different programs outside. And one of the programs we arranged was with a television station. Prabhupada was going to appear on the television station. So we went down there. We were with Prabhupada. And it seemed that there was some confusion. It wasn't the right time or the right place or something. So once we learned that, we were just kind of standing there deciding what to do. And a young man came up. He said, I have a radio show that I broadcast from this building. If Swami would like, he can come up and I can interview him right now. So we said, okay. Prabhupada said, okay. So he went up and it wasn't a room or anything, it was just kind of a little, very small cubby hole. And the boy was sitting there and Prabhupada was sitting there. A young man. And I was there also. So he was asking different questions, very submissively, very humbly. Prabhupada was answering. And he said, well, why did you come here to do this? What are you trying to do? And he said, trying to teach people how to love God and go back to home, back to the spiritual world. The boy's eyes became very big. He said, does that mean you're the Messiah? And Prabhupada said, yes. Had God sent you? He said, my spiritual master sent me. He asked me to come and do this. So it goes along with the purport we just read. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Morris. That's very nice. Yeah, these great souls come to this world just to deliver us. And we should follow their teachings, because that's what they've come here to do. They've come to this horribly disgusting, contaminated place without a single second of hesitation, because they deeply have so much compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. So if we can learn to follow them, then we can attain the highest level of love of Godhead, which is the goal of life. That's why we've been given these human bodies, to try to do that. And if we follow the Messiah's teachings, then we'll certainly come out of this rotting material existence. So we should follow their example and beg for their mercy, so that I may also become compassionate and have the desire to deliver the world. But right now I'm very, very puffed up and thinking that I'm the center of enjoyment, and I'm unable to do that in my current state. But if I beg for the mercy, I actually have to beg, not just because, that way I'll become a Messiah myself. No, I have to beg for the Messiah's mercy, Prabhupada's mercy, for my Guru's mercy. So we have to beg to become more humble than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree, and chant my rounds with great longing to once again be an associate of Radha Krishna in the spiritual world, because that's where we all belong. We don't belong in this horrible quagmire of material existence, but yet we're so attached to it here. So attached to this going my way, this way, don't want to hear from any authority. I think, who are you? You're not qualified to be my authority. But even if they're not, then they've been prescribed from higher authorities to be my authority. So in that way, I must take shelter of them as my authority, as my spiritual guide back home, back to Godhead. Because Krishna won't accept me if I'm not humble, if I'm not submissive. I must be humble, I must be submissive in order for the Lord to actually even accept my service. And if he sees that I'm puffed up, he doesn't like it. He doesn't, no, I don't. We have to be pure devotees actually to go back home, back to Godhead. And if we have envy and lust, and if we get flared up when somebody's simply trying to help us, that's all they're trying to do. Our authorities are just trying to help us. And if I'm getting flared up at that, then there's no way I'm going back to Godhead. And this person's literally like, it's like a surgeon. He has a very sharp knife, but he knows how to use that knife to extract this cancerous thing that's killing me, that's literally making me die and lose my strength and my energy. And he knows exactly where to cut, because he's been taught exactly where to cut and how to extract that sickness. But I'm making it very difficult for him, because I'm telling him I don't want that. I'm kicking, I'm screaming, I'm going everywhere. And he's just like still very carefully trying, and he still is extracting that. But because of my flaring around, I'm making it very, very difficult. So I should know that this person's trying to help me. He is actually far more advanced than me, my authorities, that is, my authorities, my guides, my guru, whoever it may be that's at that moment giving us instruction or guidance, maybe not even instruction, then just simply guidance. We should also take that very humbly. And yes, Maharaj.
Kinchana Gotra, the Kunti, explains also that one who has affinity for janma karma, for one's birth in a high aristocratic family, or his personal beauty, or wealth, or education, these things are impediments, actually, for making advancement in spiritual life. To have those things is a challenge. Therefore, we see that the very rich persons, often they make elaborate arrangements so that no saintly persons can come to their door. They have guards and dogs and different kinds of protective systems, walls, so that they're not available to the saintly person. So sometimes it's actually an advantage to be without them. Because even in the heavenly planets, they're so wrapped up in their level of enjoyment, they don't take seriously the words of the saintly persons. This happened to even Narad Muni. Narad Muni previously was a Gandharva singer, and he was very handsome, attractive to women, and he became intoxicated by that beauty and that association. And so one time, on the demigods, on the higher planets, they sometimes have kirtans, glorifying Hari. And they were having such a kirtan, and instead of joining the kirtan, he began singing some songs glorifying the demigods in the material world. And they were very disappointed with him, and he got cursed to go down to the lower planetary systems and become purified again. So sometimes it happens that even those in the heavenly planets become so enamored by that enjoyment. Therefore, we should not aspire to get wealth and to become a very learned man in the material world, because these things are different types of intoxication. And it's very easy to become attached to the image that I'm trying to portray, that I'm very beautiful or I'm very learned. So Queen Kunti says, if one, without these attachments, can approach the Lord, can easily take to devotional service. So that doesn't mean we shouldn't try to give this knowledge or Krishna consciousness, share with everyone, masses and the classes. Prabhupada said that we want the masses to follow us and we want the classes to preach for us. Because when people of some prestige or some renown, if they say something, then people follow it. Whatever is performed by a great man, common men follow in his footsteps. Whatever standards he sets, the whole world pursues. So if the well-to-do or famous persons or qualified persons join Krishna consciousness, and when they speak or what they do will have a great influence. We saw that with George Harrison. He was a famous musician. And the fact that he took to Krishna consciousness had a tremendous effect on those who were following him.
Okay. Thank you so much.
I can understand why these great devotees are not interested in the material world, but why is it that they're not interested in the spiritual world?
Are you referring to what Prabhupada's saying here in the purport?
Yes, in Prabhupada's purport.
To my understanding is there's, I think like Mars was saying, there's a lot of opulence in the spiritual world, like sense enjoyment, but through religious principles. But it's still the material world, so there's still a desire there for material enjoyment and enjoyment away from Krishna. Is that a satisfactory answer?
They also say, Prabhupada also says here that in the transcendental world, they're full in themselves. So they're happy to be in either. They don't care for either means not that they don't mind. You could take it, they don't care. They don't mind being, whether they're in the material world or the spiritual world. And this is confirmed by Lord Shiva. Narayana paras sarvenuka taschana bibhiti svarga bhavarga narakeshu tulyarta darshana. That those great devotees of the Lord, they don't care whether they're in heaven or in hell. They just simply, and he was speaking, in particular, he was glorifying Chitraketu, because Lord Shiva's wife had just cursed him to fall down and become a demon. And he accepted it without any hesitation. He didn't try to defend himself or anything. No counter cursing. And Lord Shiva said, my dear Parvati, you're very beautiful, but this sage, I honestly believe, has outshined your beauty in this instance. And then he quoted that verse, he said that verse.
Okay, thank you, Maharaj. Dr. Fred?
Hare Krishna. So this, when it says full, they are full in themselves, that means that they're self-satisfied. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Any other last Magadari Prabhu? Do I have my phone? Yes. Oh yeah, you're right actually. Would you like me to read it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, my spiritual master has a very nice email that sends out every day called the Ultimate Self-Realization E-Course. He sends out what's called a thought for the day every single day. So this was January 7th. It says, who is the Messiah? This is now his email. My dear Bhakta, in a room conversation in Mumbai, India, on 15th of April 1977, Srila Prabhupada explained who is the Messiah, the Savior of the world. Prabhupada, every one of us, Messiah. Anyone Krishna conscious, he's the Messiah. Everyone. Why one? All of us. Gaurangir Bhakti Gane Jane Shakti Dari Brahmananda Tari Shakshi. The devotee of Lord Chaitanya, everyone has so immense power that everyone, they can deliver the whole universe. Gaurangir Bhakti Jane Shakti Brahmanantari. That is Gauranga's men. Tamal Krishna Goswami. Only you are that powerful, Srila Prabhupada. We're like Prabhupada. Why are you not? Tamal Krishna. We are like the bugs. Prabhupada, you are my disciples, like father, like son. You should be Gaurangir Bhakti Jane, everyone. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Amar Ajnaya Guru Hane Tara E Deshe. Instruct everyone to follow the orders of Lord Krishna as they are given in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. In this way, become a spiritual master and try to liberate everyone in this land. He asked everyone, just become Guru. Follow his instruction. You will become Guru. Amar Agnaya. Don't manufacture ideas. Amar Agnaya. What I say, you do. You become a Guru. Where is the difficulty? And what is your Agnya? Yarer deke tare kaha Krishna Upadesh. Bas. Everything there in Bhagavad Gita. You simply repeat, that's all. You become Guru. You become a Guru, it is not a difficult job. Follow Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and speak what Krishna has said. Bas. You become Guru. Bas means finished. And this is a comment from my spiritual master. From these wonderful words of Srila Prabhupada, we can understand that it is not difficult to become a guru, a messiah, a savior of the world, if we simply tell people what they are hankering for in the innermost regions of their beings to hear and learn how to awaken their dormant Krishna consciousness. So if we listen to this, then we understand that we're actually meant to become messiahs. We're meant to become gurus and deliver this whole world. But we must become very humble, very, very humble. If somebody's pointing out our faults, then we must, this is instruction from my spiritual master, that we have to take shelter of their feet and in one sense worship them, because it's the greatest blessing. If somebody's just praising me all the time, oh, you're so good at this, you're so good at that, then in one sense, it could be bad for me, and you could consider them your enemy, because it's going to puff you up. And if you're not humble already, it's going to puff you up. But we need to think that this person here that's glorifying me, they're just trying to encourage me, trying to keep me going along. Really, I'm full of so many faults, and they're just finding this one good thing in me. So if somebody is calling out our faults, we got to become very, very humble. Take it as the most amazing service that they're doing for me. And they're taking so much time to help me overcome my bad qualities. So don't flare up, don't flare up, don't flare up. We're technically over time, but does anybody have any last questions or comments? It's the best thing in the whole world.
To others, and what is good in there.
Like, where's the line of if somebody points out my faults, but what if I give a blessing to somebody by pointing out theirs? Right. So we have to understand that I'm actually not at all qualified to do anything like that. I'm full of so many faults, and until I'm free from all of my faults, I have no business pointing out anybody else's faults. Unless I'm given that service directly from my authority. If somebody's telling me, yeah, you're going to be a leader now, then, you can, then now you actually do, point out other people's faults. But it's actually as a humble service. It's not from this puffed up ego, oh, you're less than me. It's actually from this really amazing consciousness that person that's empowered to do it is doing it in, because they're doing it as a service to their spiritual master, a service to their authorities. So they're able to say, wow, this person's actually much better than me. Let me come from below them and lift them up by pointing out maybe this thing that's not so conducive for their spiritual life. So yeah, I'm not at all qualified to point out anybody's faults. So I should take that propensity that I have in this material world to find faults with others and to be insanely critical. I should do that, and I should still do that, but I should turn it towards myself. I should find all my faults, all my bad qualities, and only glorify others, even people that are seemingly full of faults. I should only find their good qualities. I should be like a bumblebee and extract the nectar, rather than like a fly extracting the stool. I hope that answers your question. Jai. Dr. Fred?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thanks for the nice class. I'd like some clarification on this point, because we just heard how everyone has the ability to be guru that's in this movement. But say you're not in this movement and someone comes and they talk to someone that's initiated or someone that's even in a managerial position, and they're pointing fingers, or you're not initiated and you're aspiring, and you're not at the temple and you're just out in regular life or out in the material world, and everyone's telling you so many things, but how are you going to discern if everyone's opinion matters so much and they don't even have the Gita?
Sorry,
My question is, if you're not directly in sadhu sangha, then how could you discern that someone's actually giving you beneficial information that's lifting you up?
Well, from our authorities, I mean, that are giving us this.
Let's say we're not in that.
If we're not, then these people that are like chastising us out in the material world, they're coming from this place of envy, and they're calling out our faults because of their envy. But we have to understand that a devotee, he's not contaminated by that. If he's being empowered to do that service of pointing out our faults, he doesn't have envy in his heart because he's doing it because that's what he's told. He doesn't want to, actually. But he's doing it because he feels like he has to. So those in the material world, I mean, they're just totally, it's this whole mosh pit of ugliness. But when a devotee does that to us, it's coming from this state of humility, not from those outside. Although if you are a devotee and you're extremely humble, you could still take that as, if he's very humble, Krishna's putting this person here for me to hear from this chastisement or whatever. So in one sense, you can still learn from that, even if it's from a person that's not empowered. So Krishna makes these arrangements like that. But I guess principally the devotees technically qualified, the non-devotees, or somebody who's not been empowered is technically not qualified. But we still stood to take all these things as Krishna's mercy to put us in that position to become more humble. We've gone very much over time. I'm sorry that I've done that. Thank you very much for attentively hearing. It's very nice. It's humbling for me because every time any of you give a class, I'm just like passed out, spaced out. So thank you for giving me your respect. Hare Krishna. Srimad